students after they were told they can't wear tight-fitting clothing for PE. Almost 5,000 people have signed a petition online after girls at Presentation College in Carlow were told it could be distracting to staff. The school has issued a statement to say students are regularly reminded of its rules at assembly. This parent, who doesn't wish to be named, says the school should retract the comments, which were only made to girls at the mixed school.
I'd like to see the school offer now an apology and retract what they said to the female students. If they wanted to enforce the dress code, they should have spoke to all students, male and female.
That's it for now. More in an hour.
This isn't us.
The message is clear. This is
Staying away from everyone.
News Talk Weather.
Thanks to the AA. For our most competitive van insurance, go to the aa.ie.
Mostly dry tonight with some scattered showers and possibly hail in the northwest. Frost and ice is likely in the east and south. Lowest temperatures of 0 to 3 degrees. And now you're up to date on News Talk.
The Newsround on Off the Ball.
With Gillette. Proud supporters of Movember. Gentlemen, let's mow.
This is News Talk.
Hello there, you're very welcome along. So we're going to have the boys from Cavan on this evening. They've had quite the weekend. We'll have the captain, that's Raymond Galligan, and we'll have Podrick Faulkner as well. An emotional couple of days, unforgettable few days for them. They will join us 7:30. Hurling people, Tommy Welch, James O'Connor, coming your way after 8 o'clock. We are post quarterfinals. We are into the semis this weekend, so the lads will give us the rundown. Pat Nevin joins us on the football show. It is a Champions League evening, and we will hear from Denise O'Sullivan, the brilliant Denise O'Sullivan, and Kiva Keenan as well. Ireland play Germany in the Euro qualifiers on Monday. There's a do or die feel to that mission. 53106 is the text number. We're at Off the Ball on Twitter. I gotta say, it feels like a Sunday. Neil Treacy in studio.
I know, yeah. First midweek Off the Ball appearance in quite some time. To the extent that I actually just had to give Richie an email yesterday and say, how does that all go again? Anything new I need to know about?
All I can say is, thank God it's not Sunday, which is the first day of my working week.
It's also the first day of my working week, as of recent times.
Yeah, it's a Tuesday. It's a Tuesday. We're nearly there. Adrian Barry, hello.
God, lads, it's a cracking start to the show.
Living for the weekends. We're living for the weekends.
I'm hanging around. I'm not here just because I have to be here. I'm here for that level of banter.
Hey, we're here for both. So listen, hurling people, we owe you an apology because last night there was no hurling after an epic weekend. Emails please to jp.gilburn@offtheball.com. I think that would be appreciated from all of us here in Off the Ball Towers. Let them know what you think. It was a thundering disgrace, in my opinion. I'm with you. So Tommy Welch, James O'Connor coming your way after 8 o'clock. We've got a brilliant semi-final week and coming. I mean, what a lineup. Adrian Barry, your Movember tash is starting to look very nice. That's more of a handlebar you've gone for.
I tidied it up a little bit today. I'm looking at Neil there, being extremely jealous. It's the first time in my 40-odd years that I've even attempted to grow any level of facial hair at all, Joe. And I wasn't 100% sure, given that period of time, that anything was going to happen. So I've done a bit of tidying up on it today. I knew that you'd be on. You'd want to be certain level that I wanted to be, make sure that I get up to, Joe. So no messiness about it. And I've tidied it up a small bit. And I think it's looking the better for it, to be honest with you.
I have to say, you look far better than anticipated several weeks ago.
Do you know what? I had a crazy thought today. I might just keep it into December.
You're right. That is a crazy thought.
I know plenty of people who actually have given it a lash for November and have carried it on. Good for you, actually.
Sometimes people need other people in their lives to tell them the truth, you know?
Yeah.
So, well, a reminder, by the way, you're all doing this to raise some money for charity, in fairness. So we jest. But Gillette have special Movember packs in store in Tesco, and donations are made to charity every time somebody purchases a pack. And you can also check out movember.com/Gillette to find out more ways to get involved. So, good man, you're looking well. Looking very erotic, I would have to say. That was.
Oh, Jesus! What is happening here? You're making up for your poor banter to begin with. But this, that's a. I mean, you're dropping truth bombs all over the place, Joe.
I sure am. So come here. What's caught your eye the most over the last couple of days? What a beautiful few days of sport in many respects.
Mainly that it's really difficult to keep up with it, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's really difficult to keep up with it. It's normally I find it normally a challenge anyway to try and consume as much as I possibly can, but the days kick off at just after midday, and was it last Saturday didn't wrap up until what time is the United game? It was 9:30, 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Now, I will say that I did manage to consume most of it. I came in towards the end of the Tipperary match and had caught most of it after that. Jesus, where do you begin? Wasn't it? It was a mad weekend. I don't know where to begin. It was a mad one.
The maddest thing is, I said this last night, Dave was on, this 1920 thing is still freaking me out. It's unbelievable.
Because it's not as if it is a Donegal or a Tyrone coming from Ulster or a Kerry and Cork coming from Munster as well. Like, it's four teams you wouldn't be picking out. Okay, two of them you probably would, like on a given year, Dublin and Mayo. But like for one of Cavan or Tipperary to win a provincial championship this year would have seemed quite a long shot. And then to have two of those coming on such a particular year as well. Yeah. It is just an incredible coincidence.
It's really unbelievable, you know. So we have Raymond Galligan and Padraig Faulkner with us 7:30, the Cavan goalkeeper and captain and the Cavan fullback, in great form. Chatted to them earlier on, as you can imagine, in great form and thoroughly enjoying the whole thing. Like, we were getting bids in to see would they come on, you know, and I thought, well, they're not going to put anyone up because they have to, quote unquote, keep the head down. By the way, if you want to know what journalism is all about, 90% of it is getting text messages from inter-county players saying, I'm keeping the head down. That's kind of the deal these days. So I had fully anticipated they would be keeping the head down. But, you know, they said, yeah, well, come on, we'll talk. And we had a great chat. So what they did, I hadn't realised how they had celebrated. They went back to Breffni Park and they invited all their families and their partners and their kids to stand on the pitch, socially distant, and then one by one they lifted the trophy in front of family, and then there was a car parade. It's something out of Father Ted, this, but what they did to try and keep everyone safe was that they sat basically on the back of a lorry, and then people went by in their cars and beeped or, you know, shouted things out or maybe mooned them. I don't know, whatever people like to do when they're going by the victorious team. So that's how they've spent the last couple of days.
It was class, wasn't it? Yeah, I saw some of that footage actually. There was somebody who'd shared some of it online, and it looked brilliant. Like, and it's, you know, like, fair play, because I think it's easy. You could take that, and like anything else in life at the minute, it's easy to kind of go, look, things aren't what they were. Sure, look, let's not just bother doing too much. We'll kind of celebrate it when everything comes back, and like that just wouldn't be the same no matter what way you spin it. And so fair play to them. They definitely went for it. For the clip that I saw, the players looked as if they were having an absolutely cracking time. And I'm sure it is different. But at the same time, I know there are other reasons that Cavan will never forget that day. But like, there is an element of it that will be, like, it's all the more special given the craziness of everything that's going on and what they'll have done for the people of Cavan. Dave McIntyre was speaking very wistfully, I was going to say, but emotionally about it on Dadcast this week as well, just about that. I think he was on with you as well, was he? Maybe last night. Yeah. Like, what it does for the people of Cavan, like, from being from Westmeath, it's not something that comes around very often. It's a little bit of a sample of it in 2004, and the lift it gives the county is just incredible. Like, it does lead you on back into the conversation about Dublin's dominance and why that needs to be tackled for a whole stack of different reasons, but that's certainly been one of them.
So let's bring you up to date then, listeners, with what's going on in the world. Our news round is with thanks to Gillette. We don't just play the game, we change it. Gillette, made of what matters. Neil, we have Champions League evening ahead. I wouldn't say it's a stellar evening, but it's Champions League evening nonetheless.
It certainly is. We'll start with the action going on at the moment, because Chelsea looking well on course now to book their place in the last 16 of the Champions League. Frank Lampard's side 1-0 up away to French club Rennes at the moment, with just under an hour gone in France. Sorry, you have 58 minutes on the clock there. Callum Hudson-Odoi deservedly put them in front on 22 minutes. Chelsea dominated the early stages. Rennes came right back into it towards the tail end of the second half, and Mendy had to make a couple of good saves towards the end of that first half, but they are still 1-0 up, just touching the hour mark. Elsewhere in that group, Krasnodar have just equalised actually at home to Sevilla. That game is 1-1 at the moment. As things stand though, Chelsea would be doing enough to qualify for the last 16 tonight with 2 games to spare. Then at 8 o'clock, in just under an hour, Manchester United hoping to avenge their defeat to Istanbul Basaksehir a few weeks back. They meet at Old Trafford at 8. The team news came in just before 7 o'clock, and the big news from it, Edinson Cavani is making his first start since joining the club. Himself, along with Donny van de Beek, also starting. Just run through the team in full. De Gea in goals, You have a back four of Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Victor Lindelof, Harry Maguire and Alex Telles, Van de Beek, Fred and Bruno Fernandes in midfield, with Anthony Martial, Marcus Rashford and Edinson Cavani up front. United lost 2-1 against this opposition in Turkey earlier this month, and Solskjaer admits they need a victory tonight to get their qualification hopes back on track.
We need at least 10 points to go through. So we're going to go into this game trying to win it, of course, and then try to win it well with a good performance, because get to 10 points was always the main, as quickly as we can, the main point, but that defeat was a big blow last time.
Somebody says, what about Eddie Brennan's departure as Laois manager? Yeah, I'll ask Tommy and Jamesy about that after 8 o'clock. Listening on the radio, says Anne-Marie in Naas. I can't get to my phone quick enough. Adrian Barry, erotic. I have to see this. Wow. Anne-Marie.
You're going to be disappointed, Anne-Marie. Don't relax.
Make sure you're sitting down first and have a glass of ice cold water to hand, because he looks like force of nature over there.
I'm not entertaining this nonsense.
I'm afraid to actually just add anything to that.
Bill makes a point.
Please don't, Neil.
Bill makes a key point, I think, on the Movember issue. There are a fierce amount of lads who are growing a beard for the whole of November. They shave it off then on November 29th just so they can claim some of the Movember credit on their Instagram accounts. Yeah, for shame. We're not endorsing that kind of behaviour, Adrian.
The other bit of cheating is the people who grow a beard for October, shave it off except for the moustache at the start of November, so they can start with, the seeds already planted.
What are the rules? You have to, so you clean shave the whole lot?
Has to be clean shaven at the first day of the month.
Shave down before the start of November. We did it live on AM, so the evidence is there that we actually did it. And I would say that one member of the off the ball team, who shall remain nameless, Nathan Murphy, is particularly upset with a lot of other members of the team who he feels have done exactly that, in that cheated the hell out of it and been growing away into October. He's, again, we don't want to name any names about who he's referring to here, Shane Hannon. But so, yeah, there's a lot of argument and counter-argument, and you mentioned, Joe, it's a great thing that we're doing and raising awareness for men's mental health and that kind of thing. There's a few issues, a bit of rancor cropping up now.
Right. Okay, it's getting serious. And then how are you meant to obviously keep shaving around the moustache pretty regularly? Is that the deal? Yeah.
I don't really know. I don't know what the T's and C's are. You're probably supposed to be a bit more clean shaven than I am around it, but I wasn't in the habit of wet shaving for 10 years or more before this. And it's hard. You can empathise. Neil doesn't know what a razor looks like.
I know. So I don't wet shave ever.
Yeah.
No.
No, there was a point in my life where I realised I didn't need to do this anymore.
Yeah.
No. And I just stopped doing it, and I haven't really looked back. But I think you should be wet shaving a bit more. Like, it depends on what you're going for, isn't it? Like, it's looking at Nathan's earlier on. I don't know what was going on actually. Do you know what, Joe? I will say this: Nathan he's been the biggest disappointment in November. He's been really disappointing. I don't know if you've seen him lately, but like a sort of 13 or 14-year-old boy, I would have thought might have sort of mustered something a bit better. It's very poor. Like,
that is true. For a dark-haired soul, I would have thought he would have been to the fore.
Oh, I expected him by about the 5th of November that there'd be a full-on tash that he'd have to take a garden shears to.
Yeah. I go past a certain point and mine comes out ginger. In fact, you can sort of see it there as well, actually. So it's an odd combo.
Positive, Joe. Every cloud and all that, No.
So let's keep this show on the road. Neil, are we done with Champions League or is there something else?
No, I'll just fire through the other games kicking off at 8 o'clock, because in Group G, Barcelona can secure their place in the last 16. Ronald Koeman's side are away to Dynamo Kiev. Juventus could also guarantee qualification if they beat Ferencvaros in Turin and if Barca win in Kiev. And then in Group F, the leaders Borussia Dortmund host Club Brugge, and second place Lazio are at home to Zenit St. Petersburg.
Eddie Brennan then?
Yeah, so Laois, as you mentioned just a couple of minutes ago when someone texted in, on the lookout for a new senior hurling manager. It comes after Eddie Brennan chose not to seek reappointment in 2021. He guided Laois to a Joe McDonagh Cup success in 2019 before he architected a famous win against Dublin to reach the All-Ireland quarter-finals. But he was critical of the county board recently in an off-the-record interview, which was subsequently published before he held talks with the county board last week. And today's ultimate confirmation that he won't be seeking reappointment.
He'll be in demand, I suspect. He's done a good job and obviously is a great name. So I don't think he's done his chances any harm of getting the Kilkenny job down the line. There's obviously a bit of a queue at the moment. Michael Quinlivan was on with the lads this morning and was in good form.
Yeah, so Michael Quinlivan, he spoke about how himself and the rest of the county senior football panel were inspired by the Bloody Sunday commemorations ahead of Sunday's Munster final. The Premier County beat Cork to win their first provincial crown in 85 years. And Tipperary footballer Michael Hogan obviously was among those who was killed at Croke Park 100 years ago. And Quinlivan, the Clonmel Commercials clubman, says himself and the players channeled their emotions in a positive way on Sunday.
Like, I sat at home Saturday evening watching the commemoration with my parents, and like none of the three of us spoke to each other. There wasn't a word said, and then you start to realise that it is worth a little bit more. When you walk into the dressing room in Páirc Uí Chaoimh then and the jerseys are hanging on the wall, you kind of really do start to realise, and it does. Like, you have two options there. You can either let it overtake you and freeze in the moment, or else you can roll with it and make you 10 foot tall. And I think we started really well and managed to keep that going then throughout.
Yeah, the jerseys were a cool touch. That full interview, by the way, is available on the OTB Sports app. Just search OTB Sports in your app store. You'll find that and all our content on our app, which is free and brand new and well worth checking out. So Mayo have been talking as well?
Yeah, Mayo midfielder Conor Loftus, he's saying there's still a very strong connection with the fans despite the absence of supporters at games this year. All championship matches, as we know, being played behind closed doors due to COVID restrictions. The Connacht champions Mayo take on Tipperary in the All-Ireland Senior Football semi-final on Sunday week.
You're getting a lot of texts off people and things like that, and then you're talking to friends and family, and then obviously Mayo people are very, very supportive in general, so people in work or things like that, they'd always be coming in and out saying best of luck the next day and things like that. So there is a lot of people still behind you. Obviously it's disappointing for them that they can't be there, but we're kind of hoping that if we can keep winning, we're giving them something to enjoy over the winter. But you still do realise, especially in Mayo, the amount of people that are behind you supporting you.
Pat makes the point. I see Adrian's taken the Jose approach to throwing various members of the Off the Ball family under the bus. Is Shane Hannon the new Luke Shaw? It's a fair point, Pat. That would be, I would call that classic Barry. Classic.
Well, I would say that I think it's unfair to call me Jose Mourinho in this regard. I'm trying to think who I might be in it, but I think the difference here is that I have called Nathan out to his face earlier today on a Zoom call, so I feel comfortable enough saying that. I've said it in the sanctity of the dressing room, and now I'm in front of the media and I'm saying it again.
Yeah, that's exactly like Jose Mourinho. Yeah, precisely like Jose. Yeah, mean to his face and publicly. That's kind of that's the double whammy.
But he keeps picking him as well. So Nathan's still going to be there on Thursday evenings,
So I'll get your thoughts in a moment on the rugby at the weekend, Adrian. Few rugby stories, Neil.
Yeah, Eric O'Sullivan has earned his first call-up to the Irish squad ahead of this Sunday's Autumn Nations Cup tie with Georgia. The Ulster loosehead comes in after Ed Byrne missed Saturday's defeat to England with a calf injury. Meanwhile, Munster prop John Ryan is expected to train fully this week despite carrying a knock, while Robbie Henshaw and Johnny Sexton will remain in the camp as they continue to rehab. Elsewhere then, Simon Easterby says he has faith in his team's line-out after it came into sharp focus after the defeat to England. The forwards coach had to watch on as England turned over a number of Irish throws, one of which led directly to one of England's tries. It's led to questions surrounding their organisation at the set piece, but speaking today, Easterby says it's going to be a work in progress as players get used to the new system.
I'd say there's a combination of things. There's a little bit of inexperience in a number of areas. We're also, we're on a bit of a journey with this line-out group as well, and it's a new group. We've got a couple of inexperienced younger guys in there who we feel are learning every week, and they're growing in their roles. And it takes time to build combinations and get those things right. So
I think that's very fair, and I suspect they'll crack the line-out situation very quickly, and it's probably one of those things that can come right very, very quickly, and obviously we're only seeing the end result, so they'll figure that out quickly enough. What about breaking down an English defence, Adrian? That's more the worry, I think.
I don't know. I was listening to Andy Dunn and with the lads on OTBAM earlier today, and they were talking about what the positives were, and some of them were obviously in relation to the courage of the coaching staff to be blooding such young and inexperienced players, which they are doing, to be fair to them, in the heat of battle like that against England, and that's fair enough. But he did also make the point that it was third game being beaten by England in the space of whatever it's been, a year and a half or thereabouts, playing the same tactics. That's slightly concerning, isn't it? we're going back to the well with tactics about trying to physically take on England, and it's not about we can win at the minute. The journey thing I've heard a little bit about over the last. Andy Farrell obviously mentioned it after the game. Simon Eastby mentioned it there, and like I suppose we are on a different journey than them, and that's also totally fair. Sure, teams are at different stages of development. That's just a fact of life, and obviously all trying to work towards the World Cup, but. And you wouldn't want to get too carried away. Like, we can't talk about the game beforehand as saying it was a bit of a shot to nothing, as they were saying on the old TV, Joe. And I don't know that, which I think is fair enough. So I don't think we can hammer them necessarily out the other side. And like there was it like Stuart Lancaster always puts that emphasis on the, you know, the number of the caps profile of a team at that level. And we're obviously very far behind England in that regard. Yeah. Like that all said, I did feel a bit deflated after the game.
Same.
I have to say.
No, same. Because, I mean, look, Eddie O'Sullivan said he didn't even see a game plan or see any progress in the immediate aftermath. With Keith Wood and Brian O'Driscoll on last night, really good analysis from both of them waiting for you. At one point I said, what were they trying to do? Like in a perfect world, what were they imagining would happen when Ireland had the ball around midfield or into the English half when they had all that possession? And neither Brian or Keith could fully tell you what they were trying to do. You know, what they were imagining in a best case scenario was going to happen, which was slightly worrying. So we'll see. The interesting thing is Six Nations 2021, France, rejuvenated, playing great stuff, come to Dublin. England come to Dublin. Would you back them beating us for a fifth time in a row? And then Ireland have to go to Murrayfield and have to go to Cardiff. You know, I know Wales are at a low ebb at the moment, but it's still Cardiff and Murrayfield, which is always a banana skin still. That has the potential, if we don't just kind of, you know, get a bit further towards the end of this journey that we're on, that has the potential to be slightly messy, Six Nations. But we've a few weeks till then. Joe, I don't know what freaks me out more, the 100-year football semi-final coincidence or this erotic Adrian Barry talk, says Bobby in Castleconnell. Jesus. I didn't know the music was coming, but I'm all for it. What freaks me out more? I would say the semi-final coincidence freaks me out more than Adrian Barry and his long history with eroticism.
Well, you said I was erotic earlier on. I hope you don't get freaked out by eroticism, Joe.
All right, let's quit that for a moment. Latest in the Champions League, we have Chelsea 1-0 up away to Rennes. It's still Sevilla 1, Krasnodar 1. And again, Manchester United in action this evening. They host Istanbul. PSG, Leipzig in their group. Juve in action this evening. Barcelona away to Dinamo Kiev. We have Pat Nevin on the football show. Neil, next story is just so sad, so dreadful, the circumstances around it, but give us the brief outline. Yeah, it was a massive shock this afternoon when this came in, Joe. French rugby in mourning today after the news that legendary winger Christophe Dominici has died at the age of 48. It was confirmed this afternoon. French media, he said he died suddenly. Dominici won 65 caps for France between 1998 and 2007, scoring 25 times in that. He was part of the French squad that reached the 1999 Rugby World Cup final. He scored a try in that incredibly famous win against New Zealand in the semi-finals. And he also won the 5/Six Nations Championship on 4 occasions with France, 2 of those Grand Slams, and also won 5 French titles with Stade Francais. Brian O'Driscoll, among a whole host of some of the greatest players in the world who've been leading the tributes today across Twitter and social media. Yeah, it was a really tragic situation. Jurgen Klopp then? Jurgen Klopp, he says Mo Salah is back in training and could feature against Atalanta in the Champions League tomorrow. He missed Sunday's 3-0 win against Leicester after testing positive for coronavirus while on international duty, but Klopp says he's since tested negative and took part in training yesterday.
Mo trained with the team yesterday and looked really good, so the test was negative as well, so all the tests were negative, so that's now, if nothing changed since yesterday, then he's available, which is good. OK, so that is your news round pretty much done. Neil, Treacy, thanks very much. Cheers, Joe. We'll see you Sunday. Adrian Barry, pleasure. Thanks so much.
So I believe, Joe, yeah.
So we have, after 8 o'clock, Tommy Welch and Jamesy O'Connor, Pat Nevin on the football show. Next up, a really good chat coming your way. You probably won't be, maybe you've heard them interviewed all that often, but Raymond Galligan, the Cavan captain and goalkeeper, and Podrick Faulkner, the fullback in great form, coming your way next.
The News Round on Off the Ball.
With Gillette, proud supporters of Movember. Gentlemen, let's mow.
This Christmas on Disney Plus. Stream the biggest new releases plus all your festive favorites. Wow! With Pixar's exclusive new critically acclaimed movie, Soul.
Today started out as the best day of my life.
The hilarious new comedy Noelle starring Anna Kendrick.
We gotta find Santa.
And the unmissable Christmas mischief of Home Alone. Make this Christmas wonderful with Disney Plus. All these and more streaming this Christmas. 18 plus subscription required. T's and C's apply.
The only 'cause it's Friday food. The impulse saw it in the queue and thought of you. The